Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday evening to you all. Hope you guys have had a great day. Hope you all have been having a good week so far as we're working our way through it. Hope you all are staying safe out there from the dangerous heat and the ongoing severe weather that's ongoing right now. In fact, about an hour or so ago, we had two confirmed tornadoes on the ground in Wisconsin. The radar signature on these things were very stout, and it was very evident that there was definitely a tornado on the ground. A couple storm chasers got video evidence that this did occur. So I hope you guys are staying safe up there and out there in Wisconsin. There's a nasty line of storms as I speak around 6:34 Eastern time, heading towards Green Bay. By the time a lot of you folks watch this will already have happened. But we'll take a look at that first. And in this video, we're going to discuss a few things. Take a look a little bit further in the future and what the pattern, how the pattern can unfold as we get a little bit deeper into June, and talk about a little bit of maybe some weekend relief as far as these temperatures, maybe a cool shot for certain areas of the country before it potentially could heat up again tomorrow. We're also watching severe weather potential in the interior northeast tomorrow, where there's already an enhanced risk up. So if you guys have not subscribed, consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It goes a long way. Definitely hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. I'm trying to hit 10,000 likes on my Facebook page, so definitely help me out there if you're big on Facebook. If you're not big on social media, that's perfectly fine too, but definitely trying to reach that goal personally for my social media platform there on Facebook. But if you guys got anything I can pray about, please put in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. If you hear my kids in the background, they're in the room next to me, so you might hear a scream or two. But let's get rolling this evening. So we'll take a look at this, and by the time some of you watch this video, this is in real time. This is why one of these days I'm going to love to have a setup where I can go live with you guys and definitely follow these storms live with y'all to do my part in keeping you guys safe. But as of right now, I cannot do that. But let's check out what's going on. This is a nasty line of storms, the same storms that were producing tornadoes to its west. This has really turned into just a line of storms, and we were expecting this to happen. This will be affecting Green Bay within probably the next hour, and there's going to be a tornado threat with this, but big time damaging winds is going to sweep through Green Bay. Please be aware, charge your devices, and just be aware of what's to come. You're going to see this coming. You're going to be able to look out to your west, and you're going to see this coming. But there's embedded spin-ups with this line right now, embedded tornado potential still ongoing, but it's really turning into a big time damaging wind threat. So please be careful if you're on the northern and basically northwest coastline of Lake Michigan as this storm is moving right towards Green Bay. And my folks up here in the northern sections of Michigan, please be careful also. There's a severe weather threat that's starting to grow as we're getting later into the evening hours. Marquette, places like that. Please be weather aware for sure. So the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow. Let's talk briefly on tomorrow, and we'll get very detailed tomorrow morning. Enhanced risk up for PA and New York State. This includes areas like Watertown, surrounding towns and cities. This includes Pittsburgh. Some nasty storms could fire tomorrow. And there's also a chance for storms a little bit further south too. And then there's an area we watch out for southern Illinois, areas of the northern half of Missouri, and then areas to y'all's west. But we won't talk much on that. We'll break that down tomorrow. We'll look at the watches and warnings and what's going on, and pretty much what we've been talking about the last few days. We have a lot of heat advisories in the orange, excessive heat warnings in the purple. So it just continues to be hotter than Hades out there. So please just take the precautions you need when it comes to the heat. Keep the animals inside if you can, and just look out for one another, and definitely hydrate. Even if you don't feel thirsty, hydrate and make sure you listen to your bodies. This is the tornado watch ongoing right now in Wisconsin. But we'll briefly look at this. We'll go a little bit more detailed with this tomorrow, get a little bit closer up look. But if you're in, Buffalo, points east, Pittsburgh, points northeast, this is what's going to happen tomorrow. The same system, this upper trough. And as these upper troughs move east, pieces of energy rounds the base of these upper trough. And with such a moist, unstable atmosphere, with this big-time ridge riding all the way up into the interior northeast, you're going to have a chance for severe thunderstorms, and you're going to have a boundary set up right here where the ridge is and the upper trough is. So we're getting into, 3-4 p.m., nasty storms moving out of southeast Canada into New York State. Everybody in the western section of New York State could get some storms. There is a tornado threat with this, and I should have focused on that a little bit more. There's a 5% chance of a tornado. This could get elevated to a 10% risk. but this is a 5% risk in this enhanced area for a tornado. So the tornado chance is lessened from what's going on right now, but it is still there. Damaging winds, large hail are possible, but damaging winds I think will be the biggest threat here in the Northeast tomorrow. Watch out all the way down to Pittsburgh, even areas of far eastern, I almost said Idaho, of Ohio could certainly see some storms tomorrow. These will continue through the late afternoon, early evening hours, and they could bow out, almost be like a bow echo kind of event. But damaging winds with these storms sweeping across New York State. Will they make it to New York City? I think maybe when you get into the overnight hours, they certainly could. Make it all the way to Boston, all the way to southern New England. But I think as the sun goes down, the atmosphere stabilizes, and then you lose really the juice of the atmosphere. You really need to keep these storms going across southern New England. But in general, watch out tomorrow. The heat tomorrow will be a big deal again, but I think it will lessen somewhat here locally in Columbia. I think the official high was 100 degrees. But the thing that made it bad, there was nothing dry about the heat today. The dew points were in the mid-70s, even upper 70s all day. And remember, I've told you guys before, the best measurement to really tell how humid it is outside is not by looking at that humidity percentage. Look at the dew points. They list on your weather apps too, along with the humidity percentage. When you see dew points in the 70s and temperatures and air temperatures in the 90s, your heat index is probably going to be over 100. So when you see dew points in the 70s, that's when you walk outside and it feels tropical. It feels awful. It feels like your head's going to explode. That's how it felt here in central South Carolina today. Another hot day tomorrow, another high humidity day. These are actual air temperatures according to the national blend of all models. Mid-90s, upper 90s, there's probably going to be a couple sporadic 100-degree readings tomorrow. And then feels like temperatures will be pretty bad, but maybe not quite as bad as yesterday, but well over 100. For everybody you almost see in here, but there's a boundary setting up here. So therefore, maybe northern areas of the Ohio Valley, not quite as blazing hot, but the southern areas into the mid-Atlantic, the deep south, the southeast, very, very warm as far as what it actually feels like. So let's talk about this. There's going to be a change of pace. This pattern kind of lessens. The ridging kind of builds back west. And then this upper trough that's creating all this havoc with the severe weather moves into the northeast. And here it is. It's just kind of bowing down to the northeast. And with this, even all the way down to the southeast, winds will kind of move out of a different direction and it will shift some dry air all the way down into Georgia. And then all states to its north. So we're going to be under the influence with this big pattern change, a big temporary pattern change. And I'll mention why I'm saying temporary here in a second. And this will really temporarily bring us some downright chilly temperatures, especially if you're in higher elevations of maybe West Virginia, maybe some 50s, maybe some 40s, and some of the most highest mountain tops of the southern Appalachian Mountains, even into the Ohio Valley, especially eastern areas, into the mid-Atlantic and to the northeast. I mean, it might feel just downright a little chill in the air when you wake up, say, I don't know, Sunday morning into Monday morning. And it just will feel nice. It will just feel totally different. You're just going to be like, well, where the heck did this come from? And that's how it's going to be. This is going to move through. This is very fleeting, though. Another ridge might build in to the eastern to central part of the country and start blazing the eastern U.S. again. But let's not focus on the negative too much. Let's focus on the positive. Friday morning, these are dew points. These are not temperatures. Tropical air mass still into this area right into here in all these states. But you can see some drier air sweeping through the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and with this upper trough that moves through. These aren't temperatures, these are dew points. Remember, once you get dew points below 60 degrees, it doesn't get crisp until it really get dew points to the deep into the 50s and 40s and lower. But once you get dew points, below 55 or something like that, then that means you can pretty much walk outside and say, hey, there's no humidity outside. And that is going to be the case. A blast of dry air, blast through the northeast, portions of the Great Lakes region, all of the Great Lakes region, the Ohio Valley, and winds shift out to north, the northwest, and northeast in certain areas depending on the position of this upper trough. And look at these dew points that replace the tropical air all the way down, maybe into the panhandle of Florida, maybe somehow can get all the way into Mississippi. But this is going to feel different. That don't mean it's only going to get into the 60s and 70s down here, but it means that it'll still get in the 80s, maybe close to the low 90s. But you'll walk outside and you'll be like, wow, it really doesn't feel humid. That's how the latter half of this weekend is going to be for the eastern U.S. The only place that it doesn't really reach is Florida, where this time of the year you're not going to get any dry air. You're just deep in the tropics. But look at this ugly ridge flexing across this part of the country again, where super tropical air rides all the way up to the plains, all the way up into Canada. But this is going to be very refreshing. But you notice this is very fleeting. The dew points return, tropical air mass returns, yada, 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 and it just goes back to a summer pattern. But looking forward here, and we look at the actual temperatures in response. Friday, a very hot day across the southeast. But here it comes. Here comes the cooler temperatures. We look at Saturday morning, temperatures as low as the 30s and 40s for the higher elevations of Vermont, New Hampshire, New York State, maybe just some 50s for some lows, maybe some 40s. For areas of Ohio, Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Illinois, Wisconsin, this isn't completely unheard of for this time of the year up here. It happens. It's still not technically deep into summer yet, but it's still nice. You notice the temperatures are still downright warm for low temperatures down here. Then we get into Sunday morning. The air mass really begins to get entrenched into the area, and you got low temperatures in the 50s all the way down into Nashville, Tennessee. So a totally different air mass moves in, and lows into the 60s all the way down into Atlanta, Columbia maybe, definitely into Charlotte, maybe some 50s sneaking into North Carolina at points north. And it's going to feel nice. It's going to feel very refreshing. And of course, it'll get pretty warm in these areas of the south still, but drier air in place. But I tell you, the temperatures are going to be influenced big time across the Ohio Valley. Say Sunday, where highs maybe only into the 70s, maybe 60s for certain areas. Very nice air mass. And then we get into Monday morning, and I tell you, it's going to be nice. It really is. Nice temperatures showing up all across the south and then everywhere else, but then the air mass begins to go back to normal and it starts to heat back up again. But this is a nice air mass and a welcome thing here definitely coming up. But moving forward here, it looks like ridging will build again sometime next week. A big time ridge might form in this part of the country. It might not flex as far north. This is the GEFS ensembles. We'll see how this goes. But you can see ridging over this part of the country with a jet, shooting to the north. This is likely going to promote big-time drought conditions across a large portion of the southern part of the country and south and southeast, and this is not something you want to see. We need as much rain as possible. There's certain areas that are drying out very fast that aren't seeing these storms that are in some places popping up. But as far as temperatures, how do they look maybe for next week? Once we get out the influence of this trough, look, this is for next Tuesday. The temperature's already showing up and close to 100 again, to the upper 90s, and then we get into next Wednesday, and here it is, hundreds showing up again in Georgia and South Carolina. And yeah, it looks like we have another heat wave next week, unfortunately. So we'll continue to monitor this. Hopefully this will go away. But this looks like just another brutal heat wave next week. It really does, with low rain chances, with a big time ridge overhead, which lacks thunderstorm development basically. So that's all I got, guys. Stay safe tonight. I'll have you an update in the morning. God bless all y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.